It's been a little bit, or ever since yesterday, that we saw you and spent some time with you. Right now, time for us to do it again. The theme of the show today, overcoming toxic manipulation, trauma bond. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with you again today, share some points with you on our live broadcast here on YouTube. And I know Susie is out there somewhere.
I sure am. We're back.
There she is. We're back. You have been duly warned, people. We are back to share some information with you, one video at a time. Hope you can come back again tomorrow. And maybe even Saturday we will be doing a few things for you. Well. Overcoming toxic manipulation, trauma bond. What are some points you got in your mind there that you can share before our cameras come on?
Oh, trauma bonds. That was a rough one for me. My personal experience was, it was the most difficult thing I ever had to get through, to be quite honest with you. It was a rough one. That was the hardest part. Getting away from the abuser was one thing, and then it felt like the aftermath was the trauma bond. Completely unexpected, but I did get through it. Had a lot of help, a lot of support, learned a lot, and now I'm ready to help others.
That's what I have to ask. That's what I was interested in, that part of you didn't do it on your own. Well, for one, you didn't even know you were in it. And then the next thing is, you know you're in it, but you had no idea where the help was coming from.
No, I couldn't help myself at that point. So my family stepped in, first of all. I was already involved in the women's group, and I had Dr. Mack, and it still blindsided me. It was still a shock. Once you're away from the unhealthy person, it's another thing that kind of creeps up on you. It's very confusing. It's the hamster wheel in your mind that just keeps going and going. I would be up. I had insomnia, couldn't sleep. The trauma bond for me was not only wondering what the heck just happened. I was so confused. The confusion was debilitating, absolutely debilitating for me. I remember telling Dr. Mack, I felt like my mind was like my brain was splitting. It was absolutely painful in my mind. My thoughts were causing me pain because I was so confused of what just happened to me. And then coming to the realization that the entire relationship, the entire 23, whatever it was, plus years, was a lie. So the trauma bond caused me to go back and remember every little thing that I ever questioned from day one.
Wow.
And I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together like, oh my gosh, that time when he disappeared, where'd he really go? Because now I can't believe anything the man ever said.
Right.
Because if he was going to lie about the little things, now all the big things that I would excuse, or he would gaslight me and make me believe I didn't remember things correctly, or I didn't get the story straight. I was crazy. All those little tactics that they use. I questioned it all then because I had to unravel it was like a big tangled knot of when you get string and you tie it all up like a cat. And you're trying to unravel it. Couldn't unravel it.
No.
It was like a piece of aluminum foil that was crunched up into a really tight ball. I was trying to make it new again and flatten it out. That's what I felt like I was up against.
And it was never ending, trying to get the knots out, trying to straighten it out, trying to flatten it out. And emotionally, it took its toll.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Marianne's got something for you.
Hi, Marianne. When I met Susie a year and a half ago, she was living in her car. She couldn't get through a sentence without crying and feeling worthless. She had come so far and is a different person now. Yes. I met Marianne after the RV. Gloria was
Oh,
there for
okay.
the RV. I was in and out of my car at this point. I was
Hmm.
so embarrassed by all of the old memories. And then as a mother and a
Hmm.
grandmother,
Yeah.
putting the pieces together of how this not only affected me
Hmm.
and was, you know, flipped my life upside down. It did the same thing to my sons, to my grandchildren, to my extended family. I started thinking about part of the trauma bond for me was thinking about all the losses of family members and friends that no longer were there. I didn't think they were there to support me, didn't care. I thought I lost them all forever. Little did I know they were all in the background just waiting for me to have had enough, waiting for me to finally leave and go no contact for good. And thank goodness when they all found out the extent of what was really happening to me, they, of course, all came back in my life, and that was a major part of my healing and my support system, to get all to my sister back, other extended family members and friends that I hadn't seen or wasn't close to any longer. I
The shame was heavy, huh? The shame was
Oh,
heavy. Try to describe the shame. So if someone's going through it right now, and again, Marianne has something for you also.
she was feeling so much shame. Yes, yes, I sure was. It embarrassment, shame, and guilt. It consumed every moment of my life. It consumed every thought I had. Everything I did was riddled with either shame, all three, confusion, the guilt, the embarrassment. I was embarrassed for my family. I was embarrassed that I could allow such a thing to go on for so long. I mean, we all make mistakes. We all get into bad situations. And this wasn't my first rodeo. I was in other relationships when I was younger that weren't healthy, but this by far was the worst one. This was the most toxic and, quite honestly, the most dangerous.
If
And
someone's dealing with the shame part
mhm,
right now, how would
yeah.
you, what tips would you give them to navigate, to regain their dignity on the other side of the shame?
So please try to remember that it was not your fault. We are conditioned by these people, by our childhoods, by unresolved traumas. It is not your fault is number 1. To accept I had to accept that it happened, that saying, "It is what it is. It is what it is. It was what it was." But you know what? Am s I had to realize, "Okay, now it's time to help myself." No one was coming to rescue me or help me until I was ready to rescue and help myself. And part of the shame was killing my ego because my ego was holding on to that persona of a life, that fake fairy tale that I thought I was living. And I was full of shame because it was all fake. And something in me knew it was fake, and now I had to accept it. So just being real with yourself, it kinda eased up the shame for me. Everybody makes mistakes. And then with the support system, with all the other women who have had the life experiences that I had, that really helped me with the shame because I wasn't alone. And it's so important to know that you are not alone. You're not alone. It's not your fault. And there's other people that have been through it, gotten through it. I'm living proof, and we're here to help you. Every woman in
Hmm.
this group that I am blessed to be a part of their lives now, and we have our own little community.
Hmm.
We all just wanna help. We wanna help you. You know, we've come out the other side, and we're better and stronger and happier and healthier and here giving back what was given to us, our little community,
If you find
support and love.
yourself listening to this show and needing some support, one of the main reasons why we here at NATV Network are teaming up with Susie's network, SZTV Network, is because if you're searching for some type of support, please make sure that you go to her YouTube channel, but mainly you reach out to her. I'm going to put something up that's old and outdated, kinda. You can kind of touch on it. I'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
Here are some ways to reach out to Susie. We're going to be updating this because Susie has some new information to be out there for everybody. If you need some assistance, you need some encouragement, You need help. You want the ABCs of recovery and someone to walk with you without taking your money and just sending you a PDF. Susie's the person to reach out to. Susie, go ahead and give it to everybody.
Yeah,
Your phone
absolutely.
number, your phone
I'm
number,
here.
and
Phone
other.
number. Yes, my phone number is 203-441-7588. You can always email me at Susie with a Z podcast show at gmail.com. And I do also have a P.O. box if you are being stalked and you're unable to use a computer or your cell phone. You can always send me an old-fashioned letter, a note. P.O. Box 125, New Milford, Connecticut 06776.
All
And then,
right.
of course, on all the social networks, you can always message
Instagram.
me.
Yeah. You can always go to
Instagram,
Instagram.
Facebook,
Yeah. The Instagram is Susie with a Z podcast
Susie
show
with a
as
Z
well.
podcast show.
Yeah.
Correct.
So everybody feel free to reach out if you're looking for assistance. For all of you that are subscribers and members to our channel, our network, we're asking you to step over and show your support. Even if you don't need the assistance, show the support to her channel so that she can have a wider reach to individuals, males and females, who may need some assistance. So just let me do this here. I'm going to get a little bit closer to everybody. Please make sure you reach out. You can get some assistance. You don't have to feel you're alone. You can step over to Susie's network. You can find other individuals here on our network here at NATV. But if you need some help, and again, the ABCs to recovery, that someone can walk with you, feel free to do so. If you're a lawyer and you need someone to work with your clients that are going through divorce or something like that, feel free to reach out to Susie. How do you see help? I mean, when I said help to everybody, but how can you help people? How do you view that word help?
We provide at SCTV Network honest, empowering learning with passion. So we are there to help you. We are totally. And I'm going back to the ABCs of healing, keeping it simple. Authenticity, bravery, and compassion are the superpowers that you need to heal. And it's that simple. We need to be authentic. We need to be real with ourselves. We need to be brave. We have to let the fear go. And with the support that we're willing to offer, you will be brave because we'll hold your hand right through it. And I mean that. And that was what was done for me will be done for you. And you have to have compassion for yourself. That goes back to the shame. We have to hold space for ourselves, give ourselves some grace, and have compassion for our own self, what we've endured, what we've been through. And they are superpowers because for me to be able to say that I can be authentic and own my part in everything that happened, what I allowed to continue for so long, that I could be brave and let go of the fear and the ego and have compassion for myself, I consider them complete super powers because I couldn't have done it alone and I couldn't have done it without those strengths.
You were living in your car.
I was
You
living
were
in my
living
car.
in an RV. For those who've
Before
never
the car.
heard the whole story, you can go over to Susie's channel. Yes, we do have some videos here, snippets of her life, but the full story is on her network channel. But when it comes to living in your car, that was one aspect.
Yes.
But when you were living in the RV, what was that like again? Just briefly. I know you'll talk more about it on your channel, but
Yeah. Well, I didn't have a toilet. The roof leaked. I had no hot water. It's probably around 25 years old it was. It was full of mold. I was living literally with mice. They would keep me up. I was up all night anyway, but they would wake me if I did happen to fall asleep, running around. I remember when my aunt came to literally rescue me, she was so sick from the mold. And to this day, she'll say to me, like I said, okay, I'm moving into the new little farmhouse. It needs to be painted. And she'll just stop and she'll say, Susie, you were living in that disgusting, moldy, old RV. You could live anywhere. It was vile. And I did not even see it.
never crossed your mind this was not the way to live as a mom of two handsome boys. The abuse got so much ingrained in your mind and in your emotions that it became your lifestyle.
Yes.
Wow.
It was bad.
If you're
It was
going through anything like that, reach out to us here at NATV Network and, of course, Susie's SZTV Network, so that we can give you the support that you need to regain the dignity of your mental health. When it comes to overcoming toxic manipulation, or we just shrink that down to a word, recovery, healing, with quotation marks, it means a lot to a lot of different people. But when it comes to recovery or getting back on your feet, standing up again, tips. Let's give some tips before we end
Definitely.
the show at some point.
Yeah.
But some tips. What do you say? You lived in your car,
Definitely.
you lived in mold infested, and now you're sitting there with your White Castle set up. You I just like calling it that. Your microphone here. It's like two different worlds. Yes.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
tips can you give?
Definitely find a support system, and more than one. Family, friends, reach out. The people that used to be close to, give them a phone call. I guarantee you, some of them will be so happy to hear from you. I didn't realize that at the time. Support a therapist, and if you don't vibe with the first therapist that you reach out to, try another one, please.
Good point.
There is, there is support. The Women's Center, you can call your local police station. Just look up Women's Center, men's groups, women's groups, domestic violence. Hey, hi,
You got
Rick.
some
How
love
are
on this.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely like we're doing over at SCTV. We're going to help you to find your voice, to tell your story. And even if you just do it anonymously, getting it out helped me so much because it stops the hamster wheel in your brain that keeps you up at night, that keeps you stuck, that keeps you emotionally void. We must get it out. Journaling, everyone talks about journaling. It's great. But I found that finding others that have been through it, that you can connect with, that have lived through and survived the same experiences, life experiences, was the key for me.
Hey, making that phone call to somebody that you haven't talked to for a while, that you virtually shun because of the abuser, I'm just guessing that had to be kind of a stressful thing to do.
Yeah. My sister was one. And, she was my little baby when we were growing up. She was 11 and a half years younger than I. And we hadn't spoken, I think it was 12, 13 years. She was thrilled. I actually messaged her on Instagram and she called me. She wrote me. She was working. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I miss you. I love you. I had no idea. No idea. I thought everybody hated me because that's what was ingrained in my brain from this unhealthy person, and I believed it. And we meet at the mall now. We go to lunch. She helps me pick out
That's really
clothes.
cool. That's cool.
I
That's
met
cool.
my two nieces that I
Wow.
had never
Yeah.
met. And the
Wow.
craziest thing is, when we went to pick them up from school,
Wow.
they knew Auntie Susie was
Don't start
coming,
now.
and
You're
they
gonna make me cry. Go ahead.
hold up. They we surprised them at their little co-op school. My sister lives in New Hampshire, and I walked in, and these two children jumped up. My sister waited outside. Just they had no idea who I was.
Wow.
Jumped up and ran into my arms like we never did not meet.
Yeah.
Like I knew
Yeah.
them for their whole life. It
You knew him
was
the whole time. Yeah.
yeah, it was wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. And
Making that step, those stress filled, emotionally kind of feeling like an earthquake to make that
mhm.
call, it proved in the long run to be something that has helped you in
Oh,
your
immensely.
overcoming toxic manipulation from the past.
Immensely. And hey, not even going outside to my sister after 13 years. How about just my sons, my daughter-in-law,
Oh. Mm,
my kids?
mhm,
All of that was affected as well. Because here the unhealthy person puts the divide in, he triangulates everyone against each other.
mhm.
He uses people to be his little flying monkeys and all the catchphrases,
Yeah.
and it's true. You can call it what you like. They destroy families. They are destroyers of families. They don't want anyone to like you. They crave the attention. They suck you dry. They drain you. They drain your energy. They drain the energy from the whole family, not just us,
Mhm.
not just the people that are, the first ones in line. We had to all relearn, and we're still learning. We're still healing
Yeah. Because you're
after the
uncovering
effects of
different
him.
parts, right? You're
Yeah.
uncovering different parts throughout the day, doing a show. I know we talk sometimes after the
Yes.
show. You go like, oh man, that makes me remember this. And they're like, okay, you're going to have to say that in the show next time, because somebody who watches or listens to the show, you personally may be going through this as you're listening or watching the show, where something gets sparked. You can say the word trigger if it's comfortable for you. But you may get sparked. Something may pop open and you go like, oh my goodness, I remember that. I remember that created this emotion or this aspect of trauma. That's why
Yeah.
we're having this discussion, brief as the show will be, even though we've gone 22 minutes. We're going to be leaving in a little bit. Overcoming toxic manipulation, overcoming the strings that tie you up can be extremely challenging, and it seems like there is a boatload of people that want your money and want to take your time to help you get through it. All we're saying here on NATV Network is your mental health is so important. Start taking baby steps, one video at a time, one step at a time, and start making the necessary steps. Find the individuals. I think you touched on it, the therapy that may work for you, whatever the case may be. If that doesn't work, find someone else. But when it comes to getting help, what did you say help was again for you on your network? What is it? HELP means what?
Yeah. Honest, empowering learning with passion.
So
That's
find
what we're
what
going to
works for
offer.
you, right? But you also mentioned the ABCs.
Yeah. Authenticity, bravery, courage, compassion, and they're the superpowers to healing.
So what part of
Ease.
your recovering and moving forward, what part of it required you to be honest?
Honest with what I had just gone through, because I pretended none of it happened. I I covered it all up. I made everything look all shiny and happy and wonderful on the outside, and inside I was a shell of myself and suffering and in pain and depressed.
So you had the whole family look happening on the outside,
Oh yeah, smiling and holidays
but the
and boat
tyrant and everything
rides.
else was happening behind the closed doors.
Yeah.
The demeaning comments, behavior. Would you
Mhm.
say had to wear a hoodie?
Had to wear a hoodie
Never
and my head down.
couldn't look pretty.
Oh, no. My
I'm
my
sorry, love.
son's old work clothes, the sweatshirts, extra my sons are 6'3" and they're big boys. I'm wearing their sweatshirts oversized. I was
I'm laughing
a
everybody.
mess.
I'm laughing everybody because if you could have heard the conversation before we came on, I can't believe that's like two different people, because you start talking about your hair and I'm going like, okay, go on, girlfriend, I get you. That's why I had to bring this up about the look, because
Mhm.
now you are able to comfortably take pride, an
Yes.
honest look at yourself, and see that you are wonderfully made and that you have beauty to bring to the planet.
Well, what Dr. Matt taught me was I
Was
need
that?
to show up. I need to, I have to look
I like that
presentable when I
guy.
go
I
into
keep
his
saying I like
office.
that guy. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, as much as I love going on Wednesdays to therapy, I'm like, oh shoot, I have to do my hair to
That's
get
good.
dressed. He knows by the way I walk in the door.
Uh,
If I have the hoodie on, I'm in a bad he literally will laugh at me now.
knows your
Like
mood.
maybe 2 months ago when I'd come in with the hoodie, he'd just laugh. He's like, "Take a picture." That's another thing I suggest to my new clients is take a picture of yourself every day, especially the ones that
Okay.
are, the ones that are still in the dysfunctional, abusive relationship. And I said, "Do that and just look at it at the end of every week." Just
Wow.
take a
That's
look
pretty
at
good.
yourself. It
I
is
like that.
so empowering. It's like
Yeah.
wake up call,
I like
reality
that.
check.
I like that.
Yeah, they like it
Okay.
too. They're like,
I
"Oh my
like
gosh,
that. I like that. Because
it
when
helps
they're
to see."
still with their abuser, you're saying,
Yes, yes.
wow.
And also get a little calendar and write down exactly like their mood of the day. And you could start predicting the cycle.
But so you're saying it's like a cycle then, and the pictures can kind of be therapeutic. That's free therapy, people. So don't say you can't recover just because
Yeah.
you have no money. That's a really good point. It
Mhm.
it it actually kind of creates that separation from the abuse where a person can start to see they're making progress.
Correct.
Rick has something on the screen for you.
Rick says hidden scars begin to heal. We hold and now being released. Yes. Yes. I've released so much. I've released so much pain and hidden scars. I have physical scars from the abuse I endured. Yeah, releasing it's so freeing. You feel so much lighter, so much everything is easier, happier, brighter. It just letting it go. The ego I always go back to too was a big thing for me. You know, the memories, the shame, the blame, the embarrassment. It
So,
definitely lightens you up.
so when it comes to the hidden scars, they
Mm,
actually, I'm going to put something up that
mhm.
Marianne said. She had said this earlier, talking about you. She was feeling
Yes.
so much shame. So the scars, do they kind of keep the shame in place unless you
Y
actually tackle the scars? I don't know. I'm just asking. So
you mean the internal or the external scars? Because I had
both.
to
Do
deal with
they kind
both.
of,
Yeah.
yeah? Do they kind of keep the shame in place? I may be sounding weird with this question,
I think I
everybody.
know what you mean, and let me see if I can answer it correctly. When I was in the victim
Mm-hmm.
mentality,
Mm-hmm.
I was with Dr. Mack and, my nose was
Your
broken, so
physical
my nostril
scars.
was
You
up.
had
So,
plastic
yeah.
surgery
And
before you. All right.
yes, and I remember saying, "I'm leaving it." And he's like, "Why would you leave it? You need to, address this and see if they could help you." And, I said, "Because every time I look in the mirror, I'll remember what he did to me." And he said, "That is one of the most unhealthy things I've ever heard. Why would
Wow.
you do that? That is a memory."
Wow.
Like, I was holding on to even that. To this
Wow.
day, I look in the mirror, okay, I don't know if anyone can see it, but I have a permanent line across my cheek. Now, I don't
Okay.
wanna have any intensive surgery done because I'm afraid they even said they don't know if they could correct it or
Mm-hmm.
it would make it better or worse, so I'm not taking a risk. So
Right.
they did a
Mm-hmm.
few little things to try to compensate and even it out. But I every time I look in the mirror, I see that line, and there's not one time that I don't think of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to, like, make a conscious decision to just let it go or say, "Wow, have I grown?"
Wow. You see, Melissa has something for you. Thank you, Melissa, Rick, and Marianne for being here. Melissa has something for you as well. She says this conversation is so important.
Yes, I agree.
It, Melissa, you can always, if you feel free to do so in the chat, let us know why you feel it's important. We agree with you, 2,000%. Why do you feel this is important, Susie, for you to say this and to establish your Susie TV network?
I feel like it's important to me because it's exactly what I needed. And having it be my personal life experience, I I know what I feel I know what other people need. I know what they need to hear, what they need to feel, what's missing, where they need to go next,
Hmm.
what's next. I mean, I had all of, the different avenues and the different places set up, the
Hmm.
whole team behind me, but I had to figure out how to put it all together.
Hmm.
So it's definitely something that someone is first embarking in the healing journey, breaking away. There's certain things you need to know. Like if you're going to start working on yourself, you realize you have to get out. Don't tell the person what you're doing. Don't, because it's just going to backfire and it's going to fuel them. And if they rage, they're going to get worse. There's a lot of little tips that I wish I had known.
Hmm. You you're willing to work with men as well.
I do. I
You've
already
had
do.
some
Yes.
experiences with men who've been abused, or uh, tell your experiences that you've had um, in talking with
Yeah.
men.
I've worked with men and working with men who have had childhood traumas, abuses that they've endured, that they've survived. One is still with an unhealthy person, one just got out. And you don't think men have trauma bonds or suffer from trauma bonds? They do. And to get a call from a man that, I don't know what to do, Susie. I know this is what happens when I go back and she'll sucker me back. And they sucker them back to pay the bills. And then they discard them again and dump them. And
Mm.
and I'm I'm patient and caring and compassionate and supportive. But I do also say, okay, she called again.
Yeah. Yeah.
What day of the month is this?
Yeah.
Let's make a
Let's
mental note. The
so this
first
is
is
kind of like the
coming up.
taking the picture part. This is kind of like
This,
for him,
yes,
this is like the taking the picture part. Put it on a calendar when you're getting the calls. Go
on the
ahead. You were saying I had to
27th.
jump in here.
Yeah,
I get
on the
it now. I
27th,
get
she's
it.
reached
I
out
got
and
you.
she
I
wants to go
got
to
you.
dinner and she misses
I
you.
got you.
She's making your favorite meal.
Check
You
you
go
out,
over and
Susie.
you call me on the 3rd, and there goes another rent. You go
Yeah.
went and
There you go.
done paid her rent, and
Yeah.
when you're ready,
Used. Uh,
used and abused, and
yeah.
then tossed away as I was. And I can say it. I lived it. I survived it.
Mm.
It happened to me. Mm.
So now you can sniff it out, huh?
Oh,
Male or
a
female.
mile
Look at your
away.
face. Your face when
Absolutely.
I said it. You're like, I got this one, Paxton. Don't even
It's
ask me
like
that question. I can.
so blatant. It's
You're
so
like
blatant. I'm
you're
like, come on
finishing what
now.
you finishing the statement that they will say, huh? So
Yeah.
what did they say? Okay, and they're gonna say this next to you. It's like, oh no way! How did you know that, Susie? It's like
It's
what
like,
Rick says. Go ahead. You're gonna say.
yeah, no, it's just it's so obvious. It's a pattern. They have patterns, and once you figure it out and crack the code, then you can start coming to realization of what you're dealing with. You
Hmm.
have to, get real. Get real. Rick says souls are important because our soul is our eternal spirit to protect. Amen. Shalom. Blessings. Amen.
Right
Yeah.
now, at this point, people can feel confused. Some people can feel that they're at different stages. There's a number of things happening. We're asking you as viewers, listeners, mainly we're talking to our subscribers and our members, when you need assistance, you look at whatever you look at on YouTube and other places. Please know that there are resources that you can have. One, here at NATV, you can come here and see different individuals that we showcase. They come on, showcase what they do. You're able to choose and pick who you want to assist or follow. But when you go to SZTV, Susie TV, it's a network that's established for, I'm going to make sure if I say this right, women's shelters,
Hmm.
support for women that may be in the shelter. Also, I got to stop. I just went blank. Go ahead. What else is it for?
Women's shelters, anyone going through divorce, child custody, women's groups, men's groups. I'm hoping to start, but I do counseling now for men. Um, Attorneys, I'm teaming up with a couple
Mhm.
attorneys in town. So if you're an attorney and you need someone to be an advocate for your client, someone who just needs to, they need an extra support system. Sometimes, if you talk to your attorney, and I've said this before, talking to your attorney when you're going through this kind of divorce could be extremely costly. And unhealthy people have a tendency to drag out the divorce in the first place. And that affected me with its financial abuse. They will drain it through the attorneys. So if you're going through something, having a support system, and that's why I asked people if they would, help to sponsor a
Mm.
woman who is going through or trying to get out of an abusive relationship. It helps me by supporting my channel, our channel. It'll help for me to help other women who can't afford it. So it's a lot cheaper to have me come in, someone like
Mhm.
me, and to be an advocate and to take the late night phone calls and work through it and all that than it is to pay your attorney. And some people don't have health insurance. That's another thing.
Oh yeah,
Some
that's
of
true.
these good
That's a good point. Hmm.
psychiatrists are extremely expensive and only take the higher up insurance plans.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work with a lot of people who don't have insurance.
Yeah. Make sure that you, if it's not for you, that you know someone that it's for. Make sure that you, as it were, share it with a friend. But when it comes to the trauma bond and the power that it has, we're going to discuss more of that. Today, we just wanted to have a live chat with everybody and let you know that we're going to talk more about overcoming toxic manipulation. Overcoming toxic manipulation, trauma bond. And there will be other subjects that we'll bring to your attention, our two networks coming together and talk about certain things. And then, of course, on our network, you'll see more individuals that'll go into detail. With Susie, she'll provide different services that will be available to you. If you need someone to talk to, just call her. just write her a letter. If you need someone to go back and forth, if you can't get on the internet and do other things because it's not safe for you, she makes it available so that you can at least write her. So all of those are available to you. We don't want you to feel that you're doing this alone. You felt that way though, Susie.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I not only felt alone, but after, years that he isolated me, I just
Mm.
self-isolated myself because I was so ashamed. I didn't even
He
want my
didn't have to do a
grandchildren
lot. He
seeing
didn't have
me.
to do a lot of work anymore then. You pretty
No,
much
he
just
didn't do
bought in.
anything. I took over.
You took over and started abusing yourself in
Yeah.
essence
Mm-hmm.
by cutting yourself
Self-sabotage.
off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You
Yep.
see that when you meet on the Zoom calls with the group, right? Your women's
Mm-hmm.
shelter. You see
Yeah.
that in their eyes and that they're doing it to themselves sometimes.
It's
Because
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it triggering?
We're all at different
Does it trigger
stages.
you a little bit? Does it spark you a little bit or others in the group?
It sometimes there's women that'll pop on and there'll be someone who, is new to the group, and it's sometimes it could be upsetting.
Intense?
You
Yeah.
have to kind of get a tough skin because they're where you were, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to remember. I'm getting, stronger. We kind of have a system without making a system
Okay.
where we all know our strengths. And if there's
Mm.
someone that comes in, say, with a
Okay.
situation, there's women from all walks of life, all different situations that you would never believe. And there's different, themes each day of the week. So we all kind of jump in and support, and whoever has been through what that new person has been through, we kind of take the lead, you know. It's kind of like, how they have an AA, you have like a sponsor. It's kind of
Yeah.
like
Okay.
that
I get you. Yeah.
without being said, you
Yeah.
know.
So but everybody just kind of rallying together
We
per
all
se.
rally together
Uh,
and support and keep them uplifted, check in on them,
yeah.
on our own personal time, and
This is what's
encourage.
available to you if you go to Susie TV, because she's starting her own network in which she can do what they do in the group, but now for all of social media being available that way. You got others that were here yesterday in yesterday's show that are part of it. You'll talk more about it on your network. I'm
Yes.
going to mention something here, and forgive me, not crossing a line here, everybody, but I'm just going to mention something you said to me. And sometimes the women that come there can still have signs of their physical abuse, you said, which can
Yes.
have a profound effect on those that have already passed that.
Correct.
Can you touch on that a little bit? That it's kind of hard for everybody, not only the new person coming, but even those that can have flashbacks, as it were,
Oh
of
yeah.
what they went through physically. Somebody's there with a black eye or something like that.
Yeah, it's upsetting. But then you remember I made it through, and now I'm going to help you make it through. Is basically
Hmm.
what we say. We got you. We're here. Help is come. Help is here,
Hmm.
and we're not letting you go.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and sometimes that person with the black eye or their teeth literally broken out of their mouth
hmm.
will go back. And I did. And you know what we do? We wait. And someone will check in,
Hmm.
a couple weeks, and we just, wait. And when they're ready and when the time comes when they've had enough, we're there with open arms, no questions asked. It's another thing. There's no shame, there's no embarrassment, there's no judgment ever.
That
Ever.
could be a reason why some people isolate away from their family, huh?
Yeah, of course. You know how many times I hear now from family members, "Oh, now we understand
Hmm.
why you didn't show up for the holiday, or why you never returned the phone calls, or why, you wrote us off or ghosted us." I had to.
Was that a
What was
part
I
of
gonna
was that the ego or the shame combination
uh,
thereof?
probably a
The
combination
abuser?
of everything. The
Everything.
abuser, number 1.
Everything.
The abuser started rolling
Oh yeah,
started
it's
the whole thing in
he's
motion.
accountable. He or
Oh,
she is accountable.
this one
Yeah.
is this, that one is that, this one that, this
Talking
one
about
said
your
that.
family, talking about your
Oh my god,
friends,
and
talking about. Your boss
Then
talking about.
he
Yeah.
would talk to them about me. Do you know this person was
I'm sorry.
running
I had to.
his
I just like when you say, "Look, you're New York and Italian." That's what I was gonna say. That's why I started laughing. You guys, this is a thing between us. Don't mind us. It's just she makes me laugh. It's like she's talking and she's talking, and then all of a sudden, the New York comes out of her. She's getting there, and her hands
And I'm
start
like,
going.
wait a minute.
Yeah, then
This dude
that's it. What she did with the mic right
was
there.
going around
She
town
does that on
telling
our
people
private
I was
sessions.
an
So you're
invalid.
talking,
Yeah. I
talking
was an
bad about
invalid.
me. I'm gonna. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That'll never happen again.
That'll
No
never
way.
happen.
Well, that's like my grandchildren. I'm like, what you
That'll never happen to her over there. No more. No mas. Okay,
Never.
I'm just being okay.
never ever.
So a combination of all of those come rolling in on a
Yeah.
person, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
start self-isolating. All of those get in the way of overcoming toxic manipulation. So you said reach out to the family instead. Now that
Yes.
becomes difficult, of course, because the abuser, the unhealthy person doesn't want that healthy communication happening.
Right.
But it's survival
You
mode.
just have
Survival
to.
mode is not self-isolating. It can seem safe, but it's a temporary fix to a long-term problem. Reaching out and having healthy communication is a challenging thing to initially do, but it's a long-term fix to your everlasting peace.
We have to literally push through the pain
Got it. I see what you're
and
saying.
get out of our comfort zone.
I get you. Yeah.
Push through. Hard work. This is hard work. And that's another thing. Just know it from the beginning and accept it.
Right.
Get support. Find your community, and it can be done.
Marianne's got something for you there.
A lot of times the family doesn't want to hear about it. Exactly. So make the phone call and then step back and work on yourself. And some very wise woman told me, you just keep
Find out that
healing.
woman on her channel. No, I'm just kidding.
That's
Go ahead.
it. No, seriously. You just keep working on yourself. You just keep doing you. You just one day at a time. You just get stronger, and you watch. They're watching you. They're waiting to see if you're sincerely going to leave. They're waiting to see if you
interesting.
are what that person said you are.
Oh, yeah, because
Because
they've been
I
getting a
started-
boatload of it in their ears. So they're going like, well,
Yeah.
maybe she is crazy. Maybe she is,
Yeah,
not good as a
my kids
mom.
thought I was crazy. Yes, they all thought I was crazy. It took me what did I say? 8 months, 10
You
months.
thought you were
with
crazy. Wait, you
Dr.
thought you
Matt.
were crazy.
I said, "You sure I don't need to go into the mental
Yeah,
institution?"
like-
I truly thought he's like, "Susie, you're not crazy."
Will you stop
He had-
asking me that? He's like, will you
Yes.
stop asking me that? You're irritating me.
I'm not even exaggerating.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
dead serious. So they
Stop
will
asking
come
me that.
around.
There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing
No.
wrong with you.
He's like, "Don't."
Wait, he told you that there was nothing wrong with you, and you still leave the office and going like, he don't know what he talking about. I'm telling you, I'm
No.
crazy. You did, huh? You really
Exactly.
thought you bought into that
Honestly.
garbage that man was putting in your head.
And then he told me, he said, "You just watch. You sit back, and they'll see who the
They're
crazy
gonna
one
see who
is."
the crazy.
Sure enough,
And there it is. And
did it too. That's
Hey,
it.
hold on.
There
I
it is.
got
Here you
something I gotta
go.
play here again. There it
Yep.
is.
There it is. It
There it is.
happens. You will have your moment. You work on yourself, keep
Yeah.
it to yourself, be quiet. Don't tell them what you're doing. Reach out, start planting seeds in everyone when you're really done, and you will have your moment.
Yeah.
You will
And
be vindicated.
now you're embarking on this aspect of life of helping other individuals. What are some painful moments that you can remember that people are going through that you can share? I'm trying to put my question the right way. There are
Yeah.
things that people are going through that you've heard about. There are people you're going to maybe even be helping tomorrow. This is the worst leading question. I'm horrible when I know the answer. I don't even know how to question stuff. Share with
Yeah.
everybody.
I have some people I'm working with that have to go to court that are being, lied about. Oh my gosh, there's so many
Stalked,
stories.
I think. Yeah.
Oh yes, stalked. Being stalked. That is not something to take lightly.
No. We're going to do a show on
no.
that, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah. Even myself, I was stalked. I have someone tomorrow, or next week going to court, and I'm going to go with her, to drive in my car. I mean, these are precautions that need to be taken sometimes. It's that extreme. So they can't have someone, put a GPS on her car, sit with her in court, just sitting in the courtroom or in the
Yeah.
courthouse with this person that hurt you, abused you, or is trying to get your kids against you, whatever the level of, abuse is debilitating for a woman,
Yeah.
you know? Stalking is a real thing. Even me moving. We discussed last night on the show, just touched on it. Dr. Mack was like, my safety comes first.
Yeah.
And that's also a part of, not being a victim, where I need to take responsibility. I know that I was stalked in the past, and it's up to me to take responsibility for my own safety now. So I need to make sure I have the proper alarm system and this and that, and
Mm-hmm.
and do it myself. I can't wait for someone else to
Yeah.
do it or wait for something to
Mm-hmm.
happen. So safety is number one, always.
Yeah. Marianne's got something for you. Before we end the show, everybody, we'll put up what Marianne has here, and then we're going to be heading out of here as we get ready for some other shows. What does she got for you there?
Marianne says, when I first asked him to leave, he was so nice. But when I realized when he realized I was going to divorce him, the monster was back. Oh, in my situation, every time I'd say just go, or he'd say I'm leaving, I'd be like, go. He would never leave. That was it. And if you ask them to leave or tell them just go, leave, get out, whatever, then they start the love bombing because they know, I pushed her right
Too far?
to the edge.
I'm sorry.
And
I
then
say
they
this all the
reel it
time.
back
That's
in.
just crazy. I'm sorry. That is absolutely bonkers.
Then you'll
that
have
people
movie
think
night.
like that. Then
Yeah,
you got
you'll have
flowers coming.
date night, the card and the flowers. Oh, I still find those stupid little notes. I can't with the smiley face and the little wiggly hair.
You should do screenshots and we should make a photo gallery of them. just put them on while we're talking. It just constantly going across.
Yeah, all over.
Didn't mean it.
Good morning, sweetheart.
Didn't mean a word.
No, of course not.
Didn't
now
mean a word.
I know that. My naive self, was just like, oh, okay, he does love. It was the fix. It's like a drug. It was a fix. They push you, and then finally, when you get the courage to say get out, then they really come on with the charm and the love bombing. And they don't want to leave. They just want to torture you. They just want complete control. And when they feel like they're losing control, they amp it up.
Because of that, everyone, we are committed here at NATV Network to give you as many shows as possible that will discuss these in a live chat format like we just did today, and sometimes in a kind of somewhat prepared way like we did yesterday. And over the next 2 days, we're going to put some more information out there for you. This is what you can expect when you come to us here. When you go to Susie, you're going to get the help that you need. And HELP stands for what again, please?
Stands for honest, empowering, learning with passion.
And you're going to get a fundamental set of ABCs toward recovery, toward getting back on your feet from someone who actually not just lived in her car, but also experienced being with a woman's shelter as well. So you're going to get some really good homegrown information. You're not just getting stuff passing through you or someone who's telling you what to do and give you great definitions, but they've never lived it to the degree that Susie has and others that she's connected with. All of them are going to be giving you some information firsthand, homegrown videos and experiences. So we can't do that here on NATV, but we're looking always for individuals like Susie and others. And if you ever want to be a part of what we're doing, it's $5.99 a month. Become a member of the channel, and we'll make a podcast show for you and help you do what you need to do to reach out to others. But enough of that. It's time for me to hit a button over here, and I'm just going to do that because I can. I don't know which one. I'll just close my eyes. I'm going to close my eyes, put my finger over the right place, hit that. I don't know what it's going to do, but we're going to find out. Okay, it did that. Okay, so we're leaving the show. Much love to, I'm quite sure somebody we know. Oh, man, what's happening with my little thing? It won't tell me who's who. Hold on, everybody. Trying to see. Somebody on Facebook gave us a thumbs up. I'm sorry, whoever's on Facebook. My little doohickey won't tell me. Oh, Crystal. I'm sorry, Crystal, my friend. Crystal, he gets one of.
Crystal.
Where am I thinking? Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Got to do it for my buddy over here. That's for Crystal. I call her Nicole Black. She can hate me later. I don't care. CNB's in the house. Okay, so everybody, thank you, Crystal, for the thumbs up. Everybody, please understand, we're gonna be back tomorrow and Saturday here for NATV. Hopefully Susie can join us. If not, one thing is for sure, you're gonna see a lot of her on her channel, Susie TV Network, empowering women, helping them, giving them the ABCs, and the ABC stands for, again,
authenticity, bravery, compassion, the superpowers to healing.
Boom!
Back to basics, baby.
All right, everybody, take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental health, everybody. We are going to see you again. Right now, this little live chat, we're done, people. Love you guys. We're out of here.
Bye, everyone.
See you later. Bye. I'm still here. I got to go. All right, let me see what I got over here. Thank you for being in the chat. Thank you for being here. Susie and I are going to do a little bit of talking when we're done here. I'm going to get some things off the screen. Marianne, thank you for being here. Appreciate it greatly. Sharing. Ricardo, thank you for being here as well. Showing some love to Susie. Appreciate it big time. Marianne, you got us started. Enough of me, guys. All right.
You've been flexing everywhere. Girl, look in the mirror. Man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately, it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me. But baby, it's you. Lie like a ride, but take your stuff back. Baby, it's you.